Today I'm in West Olive exploring Hemlock Crossing. Wander through forests, wetlands, and along Pigeon River on 6 miles of trails. There's a lot to see here, so let's get started. So I barely got started, and look what I found already. Today's time tree. This is like the granddaddy of all trees. Now maybe there's going to be others along the way, and the sun isn't exactly hitting this tree yet. It's still early in the morning. So I may return to this on my way back, just in case there's more sunlight on it. But I just wanted to capture it right now, just to make sure. Look at all those limbs, some have fallen off. And it's just a large tree, still alive, but it's got a lot of character to it. And it's standing off by itself, kind of ruling over its little area here. So I brought up in a recent video how when shooting black and white images, texture, comparisons, contrasts of any kind really pop out. And so here we have little saplings against taller, older trees. This just makes for a good subject study on trees in shapes and sizes and how the backlight is adding to the setting as well. So I just like all these tall lines that are repeating throughout, and then you've got these little saplings over in the left. It's a good balance, and you've got a bunch of leading lines in here, and you're also showing texture and just a little snippet of what this area in the forest looks like. Walking through this part of the forest and seeing these tall trees lining the pathway brings to mind palatial halls lined with pillars, and yet out here in nature everybody gets to enjoy this. It feels very empowering and somewhat intimidating at the same time, because these trees are so tall and cast a long shadow. I'm out on one of the boardwalks, and you can see the morning sun is lighting up the trees and everything around it. There aren't any clouds in the sky. You know how that makes me a little sad, but we're still going to work with that, fill the frame with whatever I can. Of course, here's a dead tree that intrigues me. A few dead trees, actually. But I like the contrast between the green and the dead trees. So I'm going to walk along this boardwalk, and then there's a path down the way a little bit too, and see what I can come up with. I've reached the river overlook, and there's a lot to see here. There's lily pads in the water, there's branches overhanging. I've talked numerous times about filling the frame with whatever you have, overhanging branches, reflection in the water. So there's a lot of different things you can do here. If you'll notice, way in the far back, there's telephone lines. And in the earlier video, I talked about how I don't like telephone lines. So I was going to pass on a shot. But in this case, I can simply move and cover that up with tree branches. And it fills the frame. You've got a tree on your right. It just adds more interest to the shot anyways. So you're much better off eliminating what you don't want in the shot by finding something that you do want. So I'm coming down another trail, and look what I came across. Another cool tree. Unfortunately, this one's been carved into, marked by people who have no regard for nature and trees and what's not their property. As you can tell, I have a very strong opinion about that. So instead of taking a picture of the whole tree, I'm just going to focus in the upper branches, because that's where most of the character is anyways. So I'm on a little bridge that's over this little creek. And look at how picturesque this is. The light is hitting it just right on the water. It's just a quiet little scene. There's a tree right here with some highlights on it as well that's overhanging the creek. And even down below, there's some wonderful little highlights on the moss and the limbs that are stuck in the creek. But guess what else there is? There's this cool looking dead tree here. What's cool looking about it is the root system. Just kind of like some abstract sculptural form. And then over here, look at this path. What I like about this here in particular, the roots are acting as steps up the hill. And then you've got that path that curves around. I always like curving paths. And these trees are jutting out from the ground at different heights. So there's a lot of interesting things going on here that you can capture, especially in black and white. So really cool little spot right here with a number of different compositions that I can come up with. I'm at another river overlook. And look at this view. I've got a log in the water. It's very picturesque looking, and it's at a very good angle to provide a diagonal line in my compositions. There's reflection in the still water, so that's going to turn out well. And overhanging trees over here. And look in the background. Way over there is a dead tree in the middle of the water. So a number of intriguing compositions that I can do just in this area as well. So a little further down the path, and here's the trees I was looking at in the distance. A lot of dead trees actually, but it's an intriguing landscape, and I've got a lot of overhanging branches here. Got some wisp of cloud in the sky. I've got this little stump here in the foreground. Next to the little stump is this folded over little tree. That's intriguing as well. So it kind of presents a little loop in the front there. So like I said, just an assortment of shapes and lines, crazy lines, but it'll look really cool in black and white. Since I had some time, I decided to take the meadow loop. It's just a nice, quiet little stretch around the meadow, as the name indicates. Some wildflowers, it's a paved path, got little saplings, and just really peaceful. For more information about Hemlock Crossing, check out miottawa.org. Thanks for exploring with me. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it and learned something new. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel and getting notified when a new video posts. And I hope to see you out on the trails.